And joining me in the studio is the Honourable Minister of Sports and Youth Development, Mr. Sunday Dare. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
To you and to Nigerians.
And thank you, NTA, for having me.
I'm still excited, actually.
Absolutely.
And now 12 times the world was made to stop and listen to the Nigerian national anthem.
Absolutely.
At the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. 35 times our athletes climbed the podium with pride. You must be buzzing with excitement, just the way I was throughout the games at home, shouting and screaming,
Absolutely, an excitement that is uncontainable. And even right there in Birmingham, you could see the excitement amongst not just Nigerians, but also African countries, sportsmen and women, sports ministers who found a way of sitting together and cheering each other. Even when our countries were competing against one another, we knew it was based on merit, and the excitement was palpable. But also what we saw was a phenomenal performance, incredible performance on behalf of our athletes. Most of them young athletes, groomed in the last 3-4 years, some of them 5 years. But they came on and put on a ruthless execution of talent. And that is a production we saw eventually that put us at the 7th position. And of course, the best ever outing on behalf of Team Nigeria.
What is the secret and what makes it different this time around?
Well, I think the starting point, I give it all to the athletes. Because, to be a successful athlete, you have to be disciplined. Even if you have the talent and you are not disciplined and you don't follow a program and a particular pattern, you don't work with the coaches, you don't get the right support, you will not excel. So I give it to the athletes because they had the talent, they honed their skills, they logged in hours of training, they went through qualifying series across the world, they went to championships and competitions, they worked very closely on a program with their coaches and technical advisors, and I think it paid up eventually. But also, a lot of credit goes to the federation that worked very closely with them. A lot of credit goes to their coaches and the technical crew. Beyond that, also, a lot of credit goes to the federal government because we kept faith by keeping these athletes on Team Nigeria. The federal government kept faith by making sure that we moved them around and we did not miss any important competition or championships they needed to go to compete, to get the ranking they needed, to get the experience they needed. Iron is sharpening iron. So when they meet with the best in the world, they compete, they see that they need to go higher. And you see what happened, the trajectory. We came from the Olympics, we got down to work, we took care of business, we came down, we went to Mauritius, we performed very well. We went to Kenya, Nairobi, the junior championship, world championship. We came third for the first time with 7 medals. And then we moved on from there. We went to Oregon. Before we went to Oregon, we had several classics and open trials. And then we had the final national trials in Benin, where we picked that team to go to Oregon and the team to go to the Commonwealth. And then the Spirit of Oregon. That is where we broke the barrier.
The World Championship.
The World Championship. We saw the performance. Beyond Toby Amusan, who did excellently well. She had next fourth position. And on the Adidas wall, athletes are able to write a comment on the Adidas wall. And she wrote, just before she ran in Oregon, he said, the incoming world champion record holder. It was a prophecy, and it was fulfilled on that day. The Spirit of Oregon led us to Commonwealth, and every Nigerian athlete knew that what got Toby working, that same spirit can make them deliver for our country.
From the World Championship to the Commonwealth Games, it's glaring that the women stood out. What happened to the men?
Well, it's when it comes to sports, sometimes, like I always say, just like in life, not everything is not 100%. When you look at when you do a review of Nigerians' performances, not just at the Commonwealth but in sports, you see various epochs. There were epochs in which just the men carried this country in sports. I think it's the turn of the women. We give it to the women. I salute the women. They did exceedingly well. They delivered for this country when it mattered most. The men have done it in the past. We'll see the men do it again. But also see what the men did. They got silver. They got bronze for us in 4x100 relay. The last time we had podium performance as a country was 27 years ago.
Yes.
They have turned the page of that history. The 4x100 women relay, that's the blockbuster. In 40 years, we've never had a medal in the 4x100 women relay. And those girls, Toby Amusan, Wokocha, and the other 2 girls delivered for this country. And I think they've really set the bar very high. We hope that we can keep these young athletes together and prepare them for France 2024.
How do we begin to go back, working very hard on these athletes and go back to the glorious days also of Mary Oyale, Davidson Ezenwa, and just recently,
Sunday Bada.
The junior team at Cali didn't do very well. Yeah.
Well, when you see like a flash,
Yes.
you can see that already coming back. What we saw at the Commonwealth was a manifestation of the work done maybe in the last 5 years, especially on the part of the athletes who have put themselves out there to compete, to make sacrifices. We saw that manifestation, but also we saw a signposting of the future of our sports. We will go from here stronger. We'll go from there taking on critical lessons that matter. There are several things we got right this time. We've noted them, and we'll keep doing them. But also, we're going to mine the data. Beyond the medals that we won, the devil is in the details. But this time, the positivity is in the details. World records were set. Certain records were broken. New records were set. We want to look at that. How did we achieve that? Who are those that achieved it? What do we need to do to keep them together? That is critical.
Okay, what are we expecting from Turkey?
Well, in another tomorrow, or basically on Wednesday or Tuesday, we expect to have the 92 Nation Solidarity Games, and Nigeria will be there. Some of these athletes who have been running in the last 5 months, some of them again to Konya in Turkey. And we expect that we're going to compete in a number of sports. We expect that this excellence will also come through.
Okay, Mr. Sunday Dare, Honorable Minister for Sports and Youth Development, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, NTA, for having me this evening.
Thank you, and congratulations again.
Thank you. Congratulations to all of us.
Thank you.